Hey folks, tonight's episode of Live from My Mother's Basement is brought to you by Paramount Bakeries. Fresh baked bread since 1924. My favorite is the Italian whole wheat. Find them on Instagram at Paramount Bakeries. You can also find your favorite Paramount Bakeries breads in your local grocery store. Hi, I'm Mike Marino, and this is a brand new episode of Live from My Mother's Basement. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Live from My Mother's Basement. We're in the basement, and I'm going to tell you guys up front from this podcast, right from now, don't shut this off, because I really don't know these people, and there's a really big difference between their Italian and my Italian. We're going to get into it, and if there's a brawl within the next 20 minutes, you're going to get to see it. Don't shut off this show. I let a bunch of he even gripped me.
Gotta show you the warning, bro.
I didn't even tell him he could start talking yet. This is going to be dangerous because they're Sicilians and I'm Abruzzese. That's a big difference. We speak a totally different language if we spoke Italian at all. But if they speak Italian, I'm not going to understand it. If I speak Italian, they're not going to understand it. And I'm from New Jersey. They're from another planet. It's called Queens.
That's right.
See, he's already ready to punch me in the side of the head. Plus, we also have pizza on the bar tonight, so we're going to have some fun. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be great because these guys came all the way from Queens on a Sunday. See how angry they just got?
I'm missing pasta day.
Sunday dinner.
I love traffic on the Verrazano.
They came pretty far away on a Sunday in the middle of the afternoon. I think we all skipped out on church and a nice pasta dinner, which I say macaroni. But we're going to eat, we're going to laugh, we're going to have some fun. But there could be some violence here. They came all the way from Queens, which really, in a way, is a different planet. I was on their podcast, and I wanted to hang myself. One false move, your navigation system takes you to fucking Pennsylvania. It's insane. But these are the cast, the crew, the family from Italian Sicilians do it better.
That's right.
Than who? I don't know, but we're going to find out right here on this show. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for making this drive. I really appreciate it. It's nice to see you.
I thank you for
having
us.
Our pleasure.
Nice to see you. Thank you for coming down the basement, and thank you for coming over. We're standing. We usually sit, but these guys are big.
I have a stool problem. Sit on the stool.
What kind of problem?
Well, not that kind of stool. The stool problem I have is the blood flow. When I sit on my short legs, they go numb. Exactly.
Oh, okay.
You know, because of all the sauce.
I'm in my 60s, so I know the stool problem. A stool problem happened. I'm having a pee problem now, too. Maybe they can help me. In fact, I got to go. Come on, I got to pee.
I ain't holding nothing.
Don't hold nothing back. All right, in Queens, New York, which I don't go to very much, there is a suburban area of Queens that kind of looks like New Jersey, but a little bit different. I think it seems like it's older, or maybe the houses are closer together, or it's more like a replica, in my mind, of Brooklyn.
Kind of.
See, I was cautious to say that because that could set them on fire too. Look at her. Yeah.
Watch what you say.
It's not Brooklyn. She has the greatest accent from Queens. That is a Queens accent. You guys originally from?
Yes.
Born and raised in Ridgewood, Queens.
Yep, Ridgewood.
Ridgewood, Queens. You know, there's a Ridgewood, Canada. There's nothing but Italians. It's in the Toronto area. So I guess if you're born and raised in an area that's called Ridgewood, you can rest assured there's going to be a bunch of Italians or Sicilians because they don't consider themselves regular Italians. They're Sicilians. It's very specific.
Very specific.
So let's start off with Frank, and you take us this way and tell us who's in the basement and why and how.
So I have my lovely wife, Enza, who's Enza by the kitchen. Enza in the kitchen, sorry. And you can explain my great figure, how great she feeds me. Her Sicilian-style cooking in the kitchen is truly amazing. Over to that side, I got my good buddy of mine, Marcus. He just eats everything when he comes over. He's like one of those lost cats. But
fed me once, I never left.
There you go.
It's too good, that's why.
It's good. But he's my little comic. I love the guy.
I went over to their house to be on their podcast. And if you've seen the movie Goodfellas, I really thought I was going to get shot in the back of the head. Because you go into this house with the driveway connected to it with a slope. If you don't pull in right away, there's going to be 10 cars behind you blowing their horns at you because you're obviously not from the neighborhood and you didn't know how to get into that driveway like that. I called him. I'm like, look, I'm in a panic. If I go around the corner one more time, I'm going back to Jersey.
But now, just to remind you, my driveway is about 25 feet wide, and he had a hard time pulling in.
It's very thin.
Very thin.
Very thin. But I went in there and I was greeted by these characters in such a loving, caring way that I didn't want to leave. And as soon as I pulled in and I walked in the house, I wanted to eat because there was snacks on the table, Italian delicacies, let's say. And of course, they had everything that I knew about from my childhood. Plastic was on the table, plastic was on the chairs, and they had this, what do you call it when you're in the kitchen and the dining room has that,
Credenza.
I have it upstairs,
A
a
china
credenza,
closet.
a china closet. A china closet.
Credenza.
Say it right, Mike. Say it right, Mike.
Hold on. How do you say it?
Credenza.
Credenza?
Close. We let you slide.
And that's china closet in Italian?
Yeah.
Or Sicilian?
Sicilian.
Ooh, see?
You're gonna learn.
The
You're gonna
authentic
learn.
way.
Enza wasn't in my basement more than a few minutes, and she told me exactly how to say something else in Italian. Could you give me that?
Yeah, sure.
No. Yeah.
The
I
flower.
never heard this term in my life. This is an antique. This belonged to my mother. There's a matching thing a vase. There's a matching vase. You put flowers in it. I just put candy in here. My mother used to put nuts in here. This was also known for having gumbiettes.
Confette.
My Italian.
He's gonna kick me out.
No. I love you to death. I love your accent too. I can handle it for another 40 minutes, but then I gotta leave. Their accent is so strong, Queens, right?
How you doing?
I don't hear it.
I don't get nothing.
I don't hear nothing.
We're gonna let her do all the talking, but she told me how to say this in Sicilian. So say it again.
Capo de Monte.
Capo di
So
Monte.
anything with the flower, that's like ceramic or porcelain with the flower is Capo de Monte.
Capo di Monte.
Yeah.
It's got a flower. I said it pretty close.
Yeah,
You were
did.
close enough.
You did good.
My friends are gonna come here next week, and I'm like, yeah, this is a Capo Regimes. It's Capo, if it has a flower, it's
You
the
need
Campo.
the
It's
flower.
it's a Campo Regime. But she also said the china closet cabinet was, how do you say it?
Credenza.
So you're fluent in Italian, Sicilian.
Sicilian my whole life.
Yeah?
Yes.
Because of your family, or you were born there?
No, I was born here, but my parents, but mainly my grandparents.
That's wonderful. God bless them, because my parents said, we're Americans and you're never going to speak Bruzzese.
Oh,
And we were never taught Italian.
we'll teach you, Mike.
So, Frank, you speak Italian?
We speak fluent Sicilian.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's Sicilian, I say, because it's a dialect.
Sicilian, yes. No, they're gonna ride me with the Sicilian until we stop filming. All right, so Frank, Enza, and
Marcus, Marco, Mark, fat guy, fucking guy over there, whatever.
I love this guy.
I'm referred to by many.
Can't get rid of him.
He said he didn't want to sit. Why didn't you want to sit?
Oh, poor circulation on stools. You know, being fat, heavy density, small legs.
short legs,
There
yeah.
you go.
Isn't it funny? He actually said, I can't sit on a stool because, what do you have, restless leg or something like that?
No, no, just poor circulation.
Or circulation. In my family alone, we do have a lot of Marks, but it's not Mark. It's Marco, Marcus, like that.
And what we call in Sicilian is Marcuzzo.
Marcuzzo.
So,
Oh, man. If there's a flower on it, it's Marcuzzo.
Yes.
Like gumbiettes. Do you know what a gumbiette is?
Confette. With the almond in the middle with the candy coating on the outside.
All right, so at least I'm pretty close. That's my mother's dialect.
Okay.
So whenever you go to a wedding and they hand you a little gift in a...
Bomboniera.
what's the wrapping? The wrapping on it. What is
She just
it?
said,
We teach you Mike Italian.
This is
No,
like
no.
Sicilian
No,
101.
absolutely. But that,
I
that
love it.
wrap, what is it? It looks like
Like a
cheesecloth, but it's not.
Un sacchetto.
There you go, un sacchetto.
yeah, but a pozzatetto. look like a fishing net.
Yes.
They usually come in the color of the bride. It's white, right? Is the dress of the
Yes,
bride.
yeah, for weddings, white. But you could do for babies too, like
Baby
baptisms,
shower.
communions, and then weddings.
I remember whenever we went to an old school Italian wedding in my family, and you got the gumbiets, because that's the way my mother would say it. Get the gumbiets, get a few of them so we could take them home. And there was usually like 4 of them in this little
I
tiny
was
bag.
going to ask you how many goes in the sacchetto.
Oh, there was a specific amount?
It's a specific number.
Oh,
why?
shit. Well, I
And
thought it
why?
was...
And is it odd or even? How many go in there?
Was it 3?
What do you think?
I think it was 5.
5? What do you think?
5.
5. Because it's like health and happiness, prosperity, like there's a meaning for each one.
Is
So
that
like when
right?
you have a baby, let's just say, that's the 5 like things you wish for the child, the baby.
Maybe that's why I don't have any kids, because I only got 3. I got 3
You
gumbiets.
missed out on the other 2.
Yeah, the other 2 nuts weren't in there, so I don't have that nutty type of a life. Wow, this is great. See, I remember so specifically all of that because when you're a kid and you go to the wedding, you're hoping you're going to get them because they're sweet and they're candy
love
and you
them.
crunch on them, you bite on them, and your mother would say, "Get a couple extra."
Now, have you ever had the one with the chocolate in it?
No,
They got
No.
those too.
God, they're like the best ones.
there's a chocolate one.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you come back to Queens, we gotta go and go get a box.
Because you got to go to Queens. We can't
And,
deliver
and
that
I'll
shit
pull
up
your
here.
car in the driveway. They have no worries at all.
No, but it's delicious. It's like chocolate filled instead of the almond.
No shit.
Yes.
Inside the almond,
Instead of the almond.
in the
In
shell of the
confetti.
candy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Gumbiets, confetta. Yeah. There was also times when you would go to a wedding like this and you would see them spooning it in. Maybe they didn't make enough.
Well, a long time ago. Oh my God, I'm talking so much. A long time ago, weddings, they would spoon to the people, like give one out. Because that was your favor from the bride and groom.
Yeah.
Like a thank you for coming. Wasn't that in The Godfather?
Yes.
So they would, like the bride and the groom would give out one per person.
Not 5.
No, not 5
Just
back. They're
one.
expensive.
Yeah. It was the greatest times. I miss those times. I'm so glad you guys are here in the basement because you look around, it'll remind you of the way things were when you guys were coming up too.
Definitely.
Because I could tell by the authenticity, the fact that you guys are so hardcore in the Sicilian thing that you're stuck on your family tradition, and I hope you continue that. Because I'll tell you, I miss everybody. Obviously, this basement's a lot more quieter than it ever was because we got older. And I remember we used to come down here, let's say for Thanksgiving, we'd put like a 6 by 10 plywood piece of wood on the regular table, and that became the big dining room table. And then there was the kids' table over there, and there was probably like 10 kids at the kids' table just looking at the adults like I can't wait for one of them to die so that I can get to the I
Get
can
to
graduate.
that table.
Right. All right, so let's find out about their friends and their family and what's going on in their world. And we were starting off with Frank. So Frank, tell us, where is your family from?
My family's from Sicily, a town called Camporeale. It's a small town. My parents were both born there. My mom and my father came here at a very young age, 8, 9 years old. In my house growing up, there was no English. It was all the Italian Sicilian dialect. So I kind of went to school thinking that was normal. And, I had kind of like learned the English. Sometimes she still makes fun of me the way I pronunciate some words. And, like you were saying earlier, walking into your mom's bedroom, showing me how everything looks, it was almost emotional because it was exactly how my grandmother had it. Even the smell and the artisticity of the color of the furniture to the picture frame. It was great seeing that. That was awesome. But yeah, I grew up with all that. The plastic on the tables, the credenza that you can never touch, or my grandma polishing the silverware on the weekends, and I remember the fingers were so black from that chemical. But that is really why I do what I do today, is to talk about my culture. Not that it's better than any Italian culture. I just feel like no one takes the time to rewind and say, hey, these are the remembrance that I cherish that I'm teaching my kids today.
And how did you guys meet?
Well, honestly, we met in high school. That's how we met. But
Ooh,
our
high school
family,
sweethearts.
yes, but our family comes from the same town, so they've known each other since.
Sicily.
Her parents came to see my mom when I was born. Like they knew each other.
Go back further. Your great aunt was a midwife, and she delivered my dad.
Oh, no kidding.
Because there was like 3 in the whole town. So whenever somebody was having a baby, either one of the 3 would go. She delivered my dad and like my uncles and stuff.
A midwife. You don't even hear that term anymore.
Yeah.
Now you hear, are you a midwife or are you the third wife? How long have you been divorced? So how do you come into this picture?
Well, so
Move in close, Mark.
I come into the picture this way. His brother Giancarlo, who is actually a co-host to the podcast as well, I've been friends with him since I was 13 years old. So we would go back and forth. They moved to Long Island. They left Queens. And then I would start doing trips up there. I'd be sleeping up there over the weekend, which was a big no-no in Italian families, but I broke that. So we would just hang out, go back and forth. I'd see Frank once in a while coming in from when he was working late nights. And just every day, it was like, every time when I was there on a weekend, it was like my second home. So...
Is your family from Sicily as well?
Yeah, both my parents are from Castellamare del Golfo.
So they didn't know their parents?
No. But they came here. My dad came here in '86. My mom came a lot earlier. My mom came here when she was 12 from Argentina. They went from Italy down to Africa, all the way to Argentina, and then made their way here. My dad came here when he was done with the Navy, the Italian Navy, mandatory, and started working, met my mom a couple months later. They got together, and there you go.
They should make America Navy mandatory. These days, with the way kids are, as far as I'm concerned, if I ever did become president of the United States and bring back the draft, you could be whatever you want to be. Go ahead, transition if you want. You're going into the Marine Corps.
Either that or at 12, everyone gets punched in the face.
Somebody got to get laid out.
Hopefully they'll have oxygen tanks and standbys for people like you and I.
So growing up, you guys knew each other?
So we didn't actually connect until we met in high school. So a little funny story about that was when I used to bring friends home, in a mix of friends, boys and girls, some girls were friends too. Every girl I could have brought home just as friends, my grandmother never accepted it. Get her out. And then one day I brought her home because I met her, through other friends. And as soon as we got home, my grandmother welcomed her with open arms. And I just started hearing her talk about her grandfather, her father, and her cousins. And I'm like, whoa. And then...
All right, people, it's a wrap.
Yeah,
we got it.
So I'm like, we got to get married. That's it. It's over.
And I haven't been able to get rid of him since.
How long y'all been together?
25 years.
Really?
Yes, since
So
14
young.
years old.
14.
14 years old. We have 3 little girls now.
Is that right?
Yep.
3 gumbiets. You only get 3 because the other 2, oof.
Yeah.
Wow, you guys are together that long of a period of time.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Wow, I won't even go into the other question no, maybe I will. So you guys are each other's firsts.
Yeah.
Come on, Mark, me and you need to go
Way to make the room tight.
I'm Marcus's first too.
I feel like I'm his second. He's touching me. He keeps grabbing my ass. I got restless leg all of a sudden.
Don't sit on the stool.
Massage your leg.
Massage it.
Massage that stool, brother. Right now it's Marcus. When we're done with the show, it's going to Marcos Aurelian. No, I don't even know what that means. But Aurelius. I was thinking something from The Gladiator. All right. So what exactly is your, what do you do?
So I just started a community page, right? Just to share some of the culture, some funny memes.
No, I meant for a serious job.
Oh,
How
for a
you feed
serious
us.
job.
How do you feed us? Yeah.
How do you feed the gumbiets to the animals?
I love technology and gadgets.
Oh, okay.
So I work for a technology company who provides all this technology to schools all throughout the U.S.
All right. You've been at that for a while?
Yep, been there now 15 years.
And you?
Well, I used to work in banking, but I stopped about 2 years ago. So now I'm just home with my girls, and I'm just cooking all day long.
I was expecting
Hence,
you to say
in
you.
the kitchen.
I was expecting you to say that you're a homemaker and that's it.
Well, now I am, but before I was in banking.
You hear that
since
accent?
18.
Now I am.
Next.
You know, I don't hear that until you pointed that out. You know that?
Now I am. Frank, knock him out. Been with him since he's 12. How old are these children?
12, 9, and 8.
Oh, that's adorable.
Fun ages.
3 girls.
3 girls.
Wow. In my family, we were 3 boys, Paul, Michael, and Anthony. My father used to say all the time, I had sex with your mother 3 times, Paul, Michael, and Anthony, and that's it.
And that was it.
Yeah, I got in trouble all 3 times. I should write that down. It's hilarious. Wow. And what was your last name before you got married?
La Fata.
La Fata. See, I knew somewhere, somehow, the last name and the first name is going to sound something
It just
romantic.
roll off the tongue.
It doesn't roll off my tongue.
No.
It's going to roll off your tongue. I'm going to fuck it up like all night long. I can't even remember how to say it now. Latta Fata. What does that mean? It means your candy's not in the dish anymore. I don't know. How do you say your whole name?
It's short.
Enza?
Enza La Fata.
Enza La Fata. Sounds like we're going to go to a nice restaurant. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to say, listen, I want a nice glass of wine and I want the Enza La Fata with some meatballs and gumbiets.
Now, what does la fata mean? What would you think that means in Italian?
Oh, listen, I'm put on the spot. All right. La Fata.
Break it down.
I am. La Fata. The fart.
You were good up until that part.
La is the.
The. Fata,
Fata.
means fairy.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Look at the fairy. Could we say that? We could say that, but if I was to say it to Marcus,
Right.
then we get in a lot of trouble. Look at the
Little
fairy.
Just a bit. Nah, I accept it.
Canceled.
No, Marcus is good.
I
He's
accept all.
easygoing.
Marcus,
accept it all.
what's your last name?
Stellino.
Stellino.
Hey, come on, man. You know what that one
Marcus
is.
Stellino. Oh,
What's Stellino?
the knife's in the pocket? I don't know.
Little Star.
Little star, is it?
Stellino.
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 What he got in his pants, Mike?
Stellino. That means little star? Mm-hmm. How do you say big star?
Stallone.
Yeah, Stallone.
Stallone. How do you say big star in Sicilian? Stallone.
How you doing?
Sylvester Stallone. Imagine he was here right now. I'd say, Sylvester, you want some gumbiets?
You want some-
What do you do?
Me, I actually work for a state agency. We do economic development. So anytime that there's a property, let's just say that we can bid it off that if the state owns, and they come in and they propose what they want to do. As an example, prime example, Legoland. So there was an open space, people bid on it. It was decided amongst whoever decides, and then they say, okay, this is going to bring in the state X amount of dollars. That's what you're predicting. You get yours, start building.
I don't know what he said. Nobody does. All I know is his legs get restless
That's it.
if
Economic
he
development.
sits on a stool.
That's it.
He can't sit on a stool. Wow, that's really, really interesting, you know? Yeah. You would think the stereotypical Italians, maybe not from Sicily, they'd be in construction. Because we were. My whole family was in the cement business, and that was a joke. Nobody got hurt. They just did sidewalks and curbs and stuff like that. And it's funny, my mother is from a town called Duronia, which is in Campobasso. Her and her brothers and sisters, one of the oldest brothers' name was Frank, the other brother's name was Marco, or Marcus. Marcus. She had sisters, and they had Italian names too, but they changed them to American names. I can't really remember, but one was Gertrude, and they called her Gertie, and one was Lucy, but her real name was something else. My mother's name is Antoinette, or Antoinette, and the English of Antoinette is Antoinette, right? Antoinette, and my other aunt's name was Mary. So very Italian names. And then, of course, the kids got those names. And my name is Michael. My brother's name is Paul. And then there's Anthony. And everybody's named after grandpa or uncle or somebody in the family like that, but since my grandfather's name was Dominic, I got my middle name became Dominic, which actually is Dominucci. For the longest time, me and my brothers never knew that Zia was aunt. I thought it was a part of their name. So Zigadarin, we thought that was her name, not Aunt Catherine. We thought it was Zigadarin. That was her name. Isn't that wild? And there were so many. And then there was Zindonia, which is Uncle Tony, but we thought that was his name, Zindonia. And we thought, he's tough, man. Why? Because his name is Zindonia. Right? So you guys pretty much did the same thing.
Yeah.
In your dialect would be
Zio or Tia.
Zia,
Right.
yeah. We never said Nona, and we never said no. We said grandma, grandpa. And I don't know why. Why would it be different? Could it have been? Because everybody did. But we did have great-grandparents, and my one great-grandmother's, they called her Mamooch. And to this day, nobody knows why. She didn't speak English, and she would kick the kids. The kids were always told, don't go near Mamooch, she's going to kick you. And she did. She was like, I have her passport from Italy. She came at 80 years old. Why bother?
Wow.
What are you coming here now for? And everybody here is already here. And then history, my uncle, Frank, never made it to the United States, so neither did his kids. And they ended up in Toronto, Canada, and that's where they are. And for some reason or other, they speak Italian, yet we don't.
Wow.
Maybe because in Canada they said it's okay. Whereas my mother scared the shit out of us. Don't speak Italian, we'll get killed. What? That's true.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
You guys are so blessed that you actually speak your dialect, because I'd give anything to speak Italian. I kid around about it, but I did do some work in Italy, and I remember going to Rome, and I had my mother's dialect in my head just to have a small conversation. Hello, how are you? And I remember being with a couple of guys from the United States, and we were in Rome, and I'd be like, Gerich, come si chiama? And they like, listen, kid, just speak English. I don't know what the fuck you just said. I'm like, I speak in Italian.
Why, was it good? Was it right?
It didn't come out right. But that's the way that is.
But they probably just wanted to be accepted, fit in, and just to like have a new life. That's probably what it was.
Yes, they wanted to be accepted as Americans.
Because a lot of them weren't treated very nicely.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
That thing in Louisiana. Remember the lynching of,
Yes.
of the Italians in Louisiana?
Yes.
That was probably a big
So-
part of it.
So you're familiar with that?
Yep.
Yeah, see?
Yep.
It's not only certain groups of people that get discriminated against. The Italians got some big-ass stories, but I think for some reason or other, maybe it's not out there as 100%, because we were kind of like, you know what, just move on. We got things to do.
Next.
We don't have to worry about the past. We're moving. Whereas a lot of people want to blame something that happens to them on their past. We could, but we're moving on. We're in the basement. Well, actually, we're still in the basement. We can never get out of the basement. Who wants to leave anyway? It's cooler down here.
I prefer it.
It's beautiful.
No
good.
humidity.
So here's a great question. Are your children going to be bilingual?
not as much as I grew up, unfortunately, because back then my grandparents didn't speak a word of English. So when I had to communicate with them, Italian was the only way to go.
Right.
Today, my parents speak English, so that's like first nature now with my parents and my kids and
They
even
say a
myself.
word here and there.
They do some.
I love her accent. My parents. You guys hearing that?
Now I am, thanks to you.
Let me tell you people in Kentucky, that's very authentic. It's not an Italian accent.
I'm not
it's
faking
Queens.
it. This is me.
Yeah, she ain't faking anything. Ask Frank. All right, so let's move on. Now, first of all, I want to know this, though. You married?
No.
No married, no kids.
No married, no kids.
All right, so we're going to hook you up.
All right.
Do you date specifically Italian?
No.
No.
No. My brother is married to someone who is Puerto Rican, and my other brother had kids with someone who was half bunch of white European and half Puerto Rican.
Oh, no kid.
Yeah, we don't discriminate.
Is your mother and father alive?
Yes. Yeah.
She's laughing.
Yeah, and she has the right to
I know
laugh.
where you're going.
And she has the right to laugh, trust me.
My mother used to say when we were younger, God knows what these kids are going to bring home.
Now it's at that point my dad's like, anybody, a guy, I don't give a damn, somebody.
Could you please just go date somebody?
Find somebody.
Okay, do you have brothers and sisters?
I'm an only child.
Really? Because I was going to say maybe you could hook him up.
Sorry,
She
I'm
said,
nobody for you.
It's all right.
I told you, there was only 3 Gumbiets. That's it. That's all we had.
That's it.
All right, well, this is going to take us to what we really want to talk about. They have a podcast. I was lucky enough to be on this podcast. It's got a cool name. They got cool shirts. They got a great vibe. And now, so many entertainers or people in different businesses from different parts of the world have an affection to be on their show. They watch the show. They want to be part of the show. Me, I was driving by, and they were like, hey, that's Mike Marino. And they kidnapped me, and I said, all right, I'll come in. They had Gumbiets on the table. I'm like, I'm staying. See the way I tied this shit together? Actually, they had nice Italian delicacies on the table, and I had a cappuccino. No, an espresso as soon as I walked in the door, and it was delicious. I like my espresso dark with a little sugar. I never was the type of guy that wanted the lemon over the top.
The Rhine,
Yeah, but that's just my thing. I know that there's a difference between Sicilian food and the basic Italian food, but I want to find out from them about the podcast, and I want to find out from you guys, why is there always that thing about Italians are from Italy, but the Sicilians are from Sicily? Anybody?
You want to take that one? Or?
There's a history that's not spoken about. And Sicilians, long story short, weren't always treated, fairly by the North. We were always rejected by them. Actually, until today, if you speak the language in Italy, they consider you a lowlife. So,
If you speak Sicilian in
Yes.
Italy.
yes,
Really?
yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know that. Okay.
So that's really the cause of it. I didn't look too much into it. That's why I am just sharing the culture and just trying to keep it moving.
There is also something else. Remember, the Sicilian island, we have our own flag because we've been wanting to secede from the mainland forever. We wanted to be our own independent ran country, even though we do speak, honestly, proper Italian, but we do have our Sicilian dialect. But push comes to shove, never happened. And that's been one of the problems that they've had in the past. I think that's one of those things that they've dropped now. But
No, that's why we had to talk to Mike. We want Mike to
yeah,
run
we
for
need Mike
president.
to go in there and just start pushing some papers for us
Why-
because I can't keep doing this.
Well, that's a great question then. Why did they want to secede, and do they still want to?
Today, probably not. I think they kind of gave up on that little internal battle. They gave up on it, but it's kind of like one of those dead situations that it's been over for a very long time. It's just never brought up again.
Do you know the reason why they wanted to?
Honestly, I actually have no idea why. I never
Right.
got to know the reason why. All I know is that they wanted to.
Yeah.
That was basically
It's
it.
just a history of people calling it the land of the mafia. Robin Hood, we steal from the rich to feed the poor. And it got all these, I'll say, bad stories out of what really were about surviving. That's what it really was. It was a poor country, a poor, neighborhoods. People didn't have houses. My father sometimes tells me stories that are so inspirational that having a chicken or having an animal was so important to them. They would keep it in the house to make sure they wouldn't get sick because they were the ones who
fed the family.
So he was telling me a story about a chicken that
My great grandmother, because they had a chicken, and the chicken had a fever. Chicken was sick. My great grandmother was feeding the chicken to make the chicken get better because they needed eggs.
the eggs came out hot, Mike.
Listen, for us, we take these things for granted, but back then that was important. If you didn't have this chicken to give you eggs for your family, and how many children did they all have? They had large families. So if you didn't have the animal to feed your family, milk, eggs, whatever, what do? You don't have nothing. You're lost.
And to give you an idea, how many stories did you guys hear that saying, I didn't get shoes until I was 12? They didn't have
we had
My
those
dad
stories
always
too. But
says they treated the animals like gold because that was their,
Yeah.
source of food and living.
imagine that.
So chickens
What happened to
can
your
have
kid?
fevers.
I don't know. But the chicken.
Had a fever.
Doing well.
This is where monkeypox comes from.
I don't know.
Make sure the monkey stays alive. We need his food. What? My mother's family did have donkeys to get around on, and they did have animals, and yeah, they would get the food from the animals. And then
Were they living in the house?
That I don't know.
My grandparents, they did. What did
No
they have?
kidding.
Did my dad say? They had an animal.
Mula.
The mule
Yeah,
was
that
living in
donkey.
the house with them.
Really?
Yeah.
That was
A mule.
That was the car back then. You gotta.
Imagine that.
Well,
Hey, mule, move over. I'm trying to sleep.
because you have to go to work in the morning.
Could you imagine?
Around.
You gotta-
Times were different.
So it's
Why is the chicken in my bed? You want soup, don't you?
What soup and omelet? You can't kill a chicken.
I was thinking chicken noodle soup.
I know you were, but if you kill the chicken, you got no more
Chicken
food.
noodle soup.
people like you that will let us starve.
Her voice went so high. I can't believe the glasses didn't break. Did you hear that? Wow, that is Queens.
Wow, that's Queens.
How interesting is all that? Sometimes I look at certain areas in the world and I feel like going, could you please secede? Get your state away from our state. Go be your own state, please. You know, they wanted to do this in California for years. They wanted San Francisco to just cut out and say, we're our own area, which probably would have been a good idea. It's a big deal. You know, there's a lot of Italians in San Francisco.
Are there?
Sure. Up in San Francisco is Ghirardelli Square, where the Italians came and they made the candy and the chocolate. And then the most famous Italian guy in the world, watch what's going to happen when I say this. One of the most famous chefs, gourmet chefs in the world, Chef Boyardee.
Oh, wow.
Come on, now break some glasses.
You're lucky I like all your shit.
For real.
Okay, so in our house, I'm going to have some fun with this, right? Well, wait a minute. We have to get to your podcast. Tell us about the podcast.
So we started a podcast, and I'm proud to say it's pretty successful for right now, and I'd love to get it to another level, which we're working on. You know, we just talk about our culture. If people don't know us or have heard of us, everyone that kind of runs the show and works with me, we're firstborn Sicilians who had that similar background. So we understand, and we just bring out the culture. We bring out the laughs, the food, the jokes,
The trauma.
The trauma.
Because there's a shit ton of that.
He was beaten by a child.
As a child?
As a
It
child.
was a child.
These guys have that on your shirt. It's not on mine, but it's on the back of my shirt. What exactly is that? Explain that.
La Trinacria.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's the Latin.
Kick you in the ass 3 times.
Yeah, exactly. That's that's actually the main focus on the Sicilian flag. That's the goddess of harvest, right? That's
the
why you
wheat?
see the wheat here. Frank pointed out the wheat stalks. So she actually would mean like good harvest, good luck, because that was the main focus of the land. It was so fertile. There was a lot of countries that came in, invaded, stayed, left their mark, then the next, then the next. It was basically a land of if you got it. So you ever heard of the term "smoke 'em while you got 'em"? They stayed. The Italians finally went down, took over, and that was it. That's why we have weird foods that kind of don't make sense, like couscous. You go down to Sicily, that's their signature. But where does couscous come from? From Morocco. Why is a Moroccan dish in Sicily?
I didn't know that.
There you go.
I never would have thought couscous had anything to do with being Italian.
In Sicily, it's big. It's
Is
one
it?
of their main dishes, yeah.
Couscous?
Couscous.
I don't even like it.
It's all right. It's very small pastina. It's pastina with a little bit of flavor.
Very
like it
tiny
either.
pasta. I know you don't like it. I like it.
But yeah, it's pretty big in Sicily. Yeah, it's very. They put it with a lot of fish and broth like
All
that.
right,
like
well,
that.
I'm going to eat couscous more now because it's from Italy. Otherwise, I wouldn't have
Oh
had it.
no, it's definitely Moroccan. We just rock
Wow, check that out.
it. Yeah.
Try with some chicken noodle broth.
Yeah, chicken noodle. Not the same chicken we need, though.
Could you imagine all of a sudden like, Ma, could you have the chicken make some eggs? And there's no chicken in my house. There's chicken, but we're throwing it on the grill.
Nice.
And so when was the first episode and you guys decided let's go down the basement? Because that's where they do their podcast, right? In the basement?
Yeah, built a little... Well, no, actually, we started with just microphones and an audio recorder in my office up on the second floor that barely fit me and Marco together.
Oh, my God. We
He
were
was
like...
It was like the
Biscuit
size
cans.
of this bar.
Jesus.
We had Marcus sitting on a recliner behind me with his feet touching me.
It was like the size of this bar.
Honestly, roughly. Yeah.
I know.
It was pretty bad.
He's making fun of me.
No, I'm not making fun of you. To impersonate somebody is to admire them. So what we're going to do is the three of us are going to leave and you're going to do a monologue. Coming to America. From Sicily.
From Sicily.
I brought you couscous.
No,
And
pasta forno. We don't
Yeah.
bring couscous.
Oh, she said that in Italian now, too. How do you say, get off my foot in Italian? I was just thinking, I don't know, I thought it would be funny.
Actually, it wouldn't even make sense.
Fatina did come. Maybe like, get out of here.
Yeah.
So many people, when I was walking around Los Angeles, would say to me, your parents are from Italy. And I said, yeah. And then you meet other people and they say, no, I'm not from Italy, from Sicily. And everybody go, oh, yeah. Nobody even knew why. They just thought, Sicily, that's... And nobody even knew why. They just kind of thought, you must be really badass. Something like that.
We have a decent reputation. What can I say?
I think it's great. And I love when people admire their own, put out their own culture and they talk about it. Everybody should want to know. I want to know, is the food really that much different than, let's say, what my mother's dialect of food would be prepared? Because, of course, there's that whole fight about whether it's sauce or it's gravy. Pretty much I'm sick of hearing it because I really don't give a shit. If you make it, whatever it is, I'm eating it. I love food. But I never said the word pasta until I moved to California. We said macaroni. Macaroni was made by Grandma from scratch, and then it was ranzoni. And the only reason why it was ranzoni is because they had commercials that reminded my mother of herself. She'd yell out the window because we lived in the city, Anthony, which was my younger brother, and we'd come home and we'd have macaroni. But that was it, and we said gravy. My mother said gravy because there's braciole in there, there's meatballs in there. She's getting angry. You see her face? She's going to say suco or something like that. We never said marinara. She said marina. And my mother would say, we'll make marina if you want, because when you get older, you're all going to marry Mirigans, and that's what you're going to have. And there was the one time we asked my mother if we could have Chef Boyardee mini ravioli, and she cried for days.
Oh, my God.
Is this what I taught you? So tell us.
For real.
You guys say sauce, right?
100%. 100%.
No confusion
Mike's stuck
here.
in the middle.
I'll hold them down.
Take a chunk out of his shoulder.
I feel a knife in my back. Ow, ow. I guess, in the world of tradition, it makes sense that people would say sauce because gravy is typically brown and it goes on turkey. And in Italian houses, the turkey lives with the people.
The chicken, not the turkey.
I know. I mean, you didn't have a turkey live with you? No. Could you imagine that? Gobble, gobble. Somebody cut his head off. All right, so I'll give you this. In our house, Thanksgiving, well, I'm going to ask you guys, how'd you have your Thanksgiving?
You want to start?
Anybody?
Well, traditionally, in my house, my parents actually modernized a lot while still keeping old traditions. It was a really weird thing. But the one thing that always made it to the table, and they'll agree, is pasta forno. Baked pasta. It always made it to the table. We could have ham, turkey, all of that. The whole American dream. But that pasta needed to be on that table.
Before everything.
Before everything.
To start off.
Mm-hmm.
To kick off the journey of Thanksgiving.
Kick off the meal.
Like there's not enough that you guys eat that
celebration.
night. Jesus.
No, we typically start a lot of holidays, special occasions with pasta forno.
Pasta forno. I never said that. We never said pasta. we would call that baked ziti. That sound right?
True. Correct.
Baked ziti was a type of pasta.
Well, yeah, that's the type of pasta. We make the rings. You
Right.
know the rings, the circle?
No.
Analete.
Analete.
Oh, the
Like little
analytic.
rings, yeah.
Yeah, the little rings.
That's like the traditional Sicilian pasta forno with the rings.
I'm looking to get you guys to say how you sat down on a Thanksgiving dinner, because we're not Americans, as far as I'm concerned. My parents weren't.
Right.
So when they came over, there was what my mother would say, antipast. That was everywhere. It could be on 3 different floors. You're going to have some snacks before we begin to eat. And then your mother would say things like, don't fill up on bread, I'll kill you.
Yep.
Have some antipasta. And that was her slang, let's say. So how do you say it?
Antipasto.
Antipasta. It's not, actually not nicer. We do sound like, we were called mountain guineas. my mother would cry, well, you're not a mountain guinea. But, so, in English, it's antipuesto, I guess.
Antipasto.
No, appetizer.
An appetizer.
Appetizer.
Now they call it putting shit on
Appetizer
charcuterie.
could
There
be
you go. And that's another word. I
Get
can't
that
say.
off that piece of wood.
I can't even pronounce that word out.
charcuterie.
I'm not getting into it.
Charcuterie.
Charcuterie.
What was in your antipasta?
Supersada,
Sopressata.
some nice cheese,
Prosciutto.
prosciutto,
Olives.
maybe 3 types of cheese.
Yeah.
A few.
Primo Sale. The Primo Sale cheese. That was always definitely one.
They called it
Mortadella.
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 Chunks of mortadella.
Mortadella is always good when you start to eat it. Then after a while, you're like, oh God, why did I eat that?
You know what
There's something
mortadella
about
is,
it.
right?
No, don't tell me.
That's Italian bologna.
Yeah, well,
With pistachios.
I thought you were going to tell me what's in it. Like
No. I'll never give that secret out. That's what makes it real bologna.
How'd that pistachio get in that bologna?
What the fuck is this?
And how come it's only in there once in a while? What are these white dots? It's so damn good, but it's
Oh yeah.
It is
probably
good.
not good for
And
you.
you got to slice it really, really thin.
Yes.
Because
There's
if
the
it's
argument.
thick, it don't taste too good.
Isn't it amazing how sometimes the way things are shaped, it helps the taste?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm like that
agree.
when it comes to coffee.
Yeah.
I like the color of the coffee. If it looks like it's good, then I'm going to drink it. But there's something about it. And then cup, too. It's got to be in a good cup. So, speaking of cup, that could take us to the cup section of this show. Didn't you guys bring me some gifts?
Yeah, we did. We put you a little good stuff here.
Ah, I love gifts.
So since you said cup, let's start with the cup. We had this made for you.
You had it made for me?
Yes, I did.
I love gifts. And like I was just saying, there's something about a cup that seems to make your coffee taste better or whatever it is. And this is going to look so good in my car because I drive a lot. My car is white, the interior is black. Boom! Doesn't that match? How badass is that? And you know what's going to really be fun? When one of my friends goes, what's that say on that cup? And I'm going to say, says Italian Sicilians do it better. And they're going to go, you brute says, Mike. I'm napolitan. You better be careful where you're going with that cup. And I'll be like this, hey, don't make me secede. Don't make me secede. Because I got gumbiettes in this car.
How do you say that thing again, Mike? Test-
Gumbiettes.
No, the other thing. With
With
the flour on
with the
it.
flour, with the
Oh.
frito over there.
We're testing you.
This is, in Italian, in Sicilian, this old school tray is called Sylvester Stallone.
Close enough.
You pass.
Give me more gifts.
So I also brought you one of our hats.
Oh, look at that. Italia. And what's it say on the side? Boom. Italian Sicilians do it better.
That's when you're sipping your coffee in the car. See?
They want me to get killed. All right, thank you.
And lastly,
More shit.
two
Stuff,
bracelets.
stuff, bracelets. You gotta have bracelets. A lot of people who are of Italian descent like to give you bracelets because bracelets protect you from the Malocchia. Why are you laughing?
You said it right. This is joy. This is being proud. Yeah.
Gonna make him sit on a stool for an hour. This is beautiful. Look how cool this is. Matches my cup, matches my hat. I got matching stuff. This way, when my friends do pull me over and say, "Hey, Mike, step out of the car," at least I match. And a nice blue Italy. This is really, really great. Why don't you tell everybody the Malocchio? Did I say it right? How do you guys say it? Malocchio. Which
Evil
is
eye.
the evil eye, bad luck. That's why they carry the horn, right?
The pepper, yeah.
I never called it a pepper. I was never that Guido. I got to be honest with you, but I had dice in my mirror.
Okay, so you were there.
So, and I had the fingers. Mm-hmm. My mother gave me the fist. My mother gave me everything in the car to protect me from the Malocchio. I have crosses, Catholic, all kinds of great stuff. But it's fun and it's great, and I'm glad that we actually have that. And these guys are going to take it to another level because they're obviously a lot younger than I am, and we need these young cats to keep it going and teach their kids to keep the Italian culture going, whether it's from regular Italy or Sicilian Italy.
I agree.
Right?
100%.
So, and now tell everybody where we could watch your show.
It's out everywhere on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon, Apple, YouTube, wherever they stream podcasts, you'll hear the audio. And then we do a little teaser clips just to show you what was on the show on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok.
And what's coming up? 2 shows on Instagram.
The next show to come out is Mr. Mike Marino.
Oh, well, I wasn't really thinking that.
So honored.
Shameless plug!
No, we need to do some plugs.
Absolutely.
I don't even know when this show is going to air, so it really doesn't matter. What I meant to say was, I forgot what I was going to say. But we
it was
have
a good show.
It's a great
It was.
show.
I
Well,
loved
I
it.
can't wait to do it.
I honestly loved it.
We're going to do some more stuff today. We're going to film some clips with these famous folks because they're going to be voting for me for president of the United States.
Definitely.
And Sicily.
And yes, we're moving to Sicily because we're seceding from the United States to Sicily.
We save all the chickens.
Yeah. If I'm elected president of the United States, everybody in the United States gets a chicken for in your house. You can let him go out back, but I wouldn't because someday you're going to need him to shit out some eggs so your family can eat. Because don't forget, when you have gumbiets, there's chocolate ones. Where are you going to get the chocolate from if you don't have a chicken? That's it's supposed to be funny. If somebody's the people watching this show will laugh at that. Watch their show. It's really, really fantastic. We have some friends in common, and we're going to do a shout out right now. We shouldn't have waited this long, but we do have some pizza on the bar, and we have a mutual friend. His name is Nino. How do you say his last name? Locascio?
Locascio.
Locascio.
Locascio. Oh, go ahead, say it. You say it.
Nino Locascio.
Yeah, she just makes everything sound so much
He's my
nicer.
cousin.
Is that right?
Yes, he is.
Nino Locascio has a brand new Italian restaurant on Park Avenue in Scotch Plains, New Jersey called Grano. And he gave us a nice pizza for us to eat on the show today. I have my slice with meatballs. Hers is plain.
I have cheese.
He didn't wait because he's a gavone.
I'm starving.
She laughed at that one. Did I say that correctly?
That's true.
So, food today was provided by Grano.
It's actually awesome. This is really good.
Wow, this is delicious.
Nino!
Good job, bud.
Amazing.
Who makes better pizza, New Jersey or New York?
New York.
Come on, man. Why are you asking that
They
question?
fold their pizza too. Fold it.
New
Yeah.
York and Nino.
Yeah, just Nino's in Jersey. That's it.
Do you taste the difference of New York pizza and New Jersey pizza?
No.
Right?
We get the water from the same sewer.
Oh, this is good pizza. Did you just say we get the same water from the same sewer? This guy's always talking about stool.
I don't know what it is.
Pizza in California is really delicious. There's going to be a meatball in this bite.
Dude, I'm telling you. I actually had we went to go pick up a pie, and my brother goes, "Make sure you get it well done." He was new out there. He actually lived out in San Diego for a few years. So I found a pizza place through Google. I went inside. I said, "Let me get one. What's the normal order? Let me get one pie, large, well done." They looked at me. They go, "What?" 1 pie, large, well done. They go, you want a cheese pie? It'll be done in 10 minutes.
They didn't understand. Well done.
Not a word. So they said, what do you mean 10 minutes? I saw the machine.
Oh, the
it was on a
belt, the
conveyor
belt.
belt. Like it was freaking Domino's. I said, never mind, keep the pizza, I'm out. Never again.
Not that many people even know the slang term pie.
Really?
This is pizza pie. My father always said, should we go for pie? You say that to the average person today, they're going to think you're coming out with an apple
With
pie.
dessert.
So then what would they consider the whole pizza? They would just say pizza? I'm going to get a whole pizza?
Uh-huh.
That's crazy. Maybe we're wrong.
Let me get 8 slices circle pizza pie.
Yeah, let me get 8 slices.
Make triangles. Put them together. Make a circle.
Grano took over a pizza place that had been there for like 50 years. It was called Alfonso's. And everybody knew Alfonso's. He was great. But this is the first time I'm having this pizza. This is really, really good. So I will be eating here all the time. Grano. It's on Park Avenue, Scotch Plains, New Jersey. They don't deliver. I went there. You got to get it yourself. Or if you're like the kids today, you can get, I don't know, Uber Eats or some shit. Look at that. And they play cool music. And on Monday nights, starting in June of 2024, they're going to have comedy night. And I'll make sure I'm performing there because if they don't pay me, I'll be happy with the pizza. Wow, that was really good pie. I said
Delicious.
See?
What's a pie?
pie. How do you say we've had a lot of fun in the basement today? We'll see you again every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock on Mike Marino's YouTube channel. Could you say that in Italian?
Looking at me, everybody. Okay, what do you want me to say it
You
again?
gonna say it again?
I know Mike likes your...
Your accent.
You know, I could have done it.
Oh, wait a minute. Frank, you want to do it?
Sure.
You say that in Italian?
What is it exactly? One more time you want me to say?
I forgot what I said.
Buonasera a tutti.
What night of the week?
No. Let's get this said in Italian. Well, first of all, GranoItalianTavern.com. GranoItalianTavern.com. Seriously, folks, if you're in New Jersey and you're anywhere near this town of Scotch Plains, this is some serious, great pizza. And I have had dinner there before, and I could have sworn I had a pork chop, and it was big and delicious and juicy. So, Grano, when you get in there, ask for a guy named Nino. Tell him when you're done eating, you want 5 gumbiettes.
On the pie.
Imagine having a gumbiette on your pie. Well, would that fuck up your teeth, huh? I'm definitely not going to get married now. Look, I broke my molar. I would love for you to say, thank you for watching live from my mother's basement in Italian.
Grazie di guardare la live del bastimento di mia nonna.
That's the
no,
way
my
I would've-
mother, my madre.
Oh, yeah.
I would have said it like
It's,
that.
yeah, it's kind of like awkward to say
I
in
would have
Italian.
said, Io, Enza e Marco ringraziamo a Mike Marino per aver noagge n'usello di sua nonna.
So much.
Sua madre. N'usello di sua madre.
Bastimento.
Passamento, sello.
Sallo.
Sello is a
Bastimento.
slang word of sell.
Like basement.
Cellar.
Bastimento. Cellar.
Some people actually call the basement cellars. My parents
Cellar.
did.
Right.
Yeah.
We're going in the cellar.
The
Yeah.
cellar.
This is a basement. There's a difference. A cellar is
I have
where
a
you
dungeon.
keep the wine.
Dungeon.
And we'll be right back after this commercial break from Game of Thrones. We got to get this guy married, or he's never going to sit on a stool.
He would never leave my house.
Folks, I want you to watch their podcast. These guys are really, really great, and it's a lot of fun. And you're going to get some history, and you're going to get to listen to some great Italian accents, and you're going to get to listen to great Queens accents, because they definitely sound like they're from the borough. It's a borough of Queens.
Borough, yeah.
I sound like I'm from New Jersey, and she's just got the greatest accent of all. So we're going to get going. One more time, guys. Tell them where you can find these guys on every podcast application. And you can even order. You selling your merchandise online?
Yeah, Italiansiciliansdoitbetter.com. Merch store is on there. Podcast is on there. You'll find everything in one place.
ItalianSiciliansDoItBetter.com. You might even be able to get yourself a mug. This is the greatest mug, man. Look at that. It's got all the great colors. I'm burping. Should never eat when you do your show. All right, listen, we got to get going, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my God, we're almost an hour. Thank you so much for coming down. Thank you for driving all the way out from Queens, man. I really appreciate that. You ruined your Sunday afternoon pasta with your family. Got ruined because you came all the way out this way. I kept them this long because now they're headed back and there's going to be a lot of traffic.
No, we're staying here.
See if you could repeat after me in Italian. Ready? Thank you, everybody, for watching another episode of Live from My Mother's Basement. Say that in Italian.
Grazie a tutti per guardarmi a Niauce din saluto de mia madre.
Yeah.
Whatever he said.
Yes. And you can watch me every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock on my YouTube channel, Mike Marino Live.
I got one part, you gotta get the other.
Come on, you do it.
What were we saying?
You say watch my show every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock.
Guarda la mia programma ogni martedì sera.
Yeah, that's right. Every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock, I'm only on just YouTube, and you can also watch and listen to me on Spotify and your favorite podcast app. We're also going to be listening to this show on Italian American radio in New York City. We got to get going. I've had so much fun down here, and we have a lot more pizza to eat. Thank you for coming, everybody. Remember, let's make America Italian again. Whether you're from Sicily, or you're from Queens, it doesn't matter. Let's make America Italian again. You know my motto. You don't know nothing, you don't see nothing, you don't say nothing. And how do I end every single one of my broadcasts? By saying the same thing along with my guests. All right, watch this. And you guys can say this in Italian if you want. That would be kind of cool. So this is it. Don't take no shit from nobody. You ready? Don't take no shit from nobody. Hey folks, thanks for watching Live from My Mother's Basement. I hope you enjoyed the show. And if you did, hit the word like and leave me a really cool comment. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't miss any of the future episodes, and you can watch some of the funniest videos on the internet. You can also listen to the show on Spotify or your favorite podcast app.